Okay, hello everyone. Today is Thursday, August the 24th. And today we're going to, be continuing in our exploration of holistic healing. One of the things that we wanted to do here in Inner Haven was to find a catalyst so that all of the things, all of the very many modalities that we use and that we study and that we look into, that we can find a way to put those things together. And what better way than holistically healing our mind, body, and spirit? This way we have results. We can things that can be done on a regular practice basis, things that we can that will not only improve our physical bodies, but our mental outlooks, our psychology, and those things that help us put those things into our spiritual alignment. Because spirit is perfect, as we know, and so that's one of the things that we are always trying to achieve, especially in metaphysics, is to be more and more closely aligned to our source. So today we're going to look at aromatherapy. Would anyone like to, start us out or lead us in a prayer? How about you, Forrest?
Yeah. Good morning. So as we close our eyes and take a deep breath in, when we're breathing in, we're breathing in happiness, breathing in joy, and let go of that breath, let go of all negativity. Dear Heavenly Divine, we thank you for being present with us today. And as we walk into knowing what you have us today is to learn that we can grow spiritually, that our body, we're healed. Every soul in your body, you're healed. And in our walk, we walk with love and kindness. And with this spirit of holistic that we will learn today, that it give us greatness, that we can be all in alignment more spiritually. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Beautiful. Was.
Well, many of the things that we have been doing is called alternative medicine. And we know that it's only called alternative medicine is because it is not insured by the insurance company for, but basically, this is tried and true medicines that have been used to heal people for millennia, thousands of millennia. I mean, this is where actually true medicine comes from. So, as with anything, understanding it more and more as we practice its use, it helps us understand not only our physical bodies, but it also helps us understand, gives us range into our spirit as well. And that's one of the things that I think that aromatherapy does more so than many of the other modalities, because the aromas help engage our, the olfactory system. It engages our nostrils, and it engages, let's see, I don't want to just go back on what I think that I know, but one of the things that the olfactory system does, it really focuses on the amygdala, the limbic system. There's another thing in the brain also. I want to say the pineal gland. But I may or may not be correct on that. But is close enough to the rest of them so that it will be affected. And our spirits, because these things affect our minds so much, you can, you know, smell something and be transported right back to a memory. So, you know, can you all remember, you have a smell that transports you back to a memory?
First one that comes to my mind is the smell of Thanksgiving dinner cooking and the gathering of family, and all, you know, and a happy time overall.
How about you, Forrest?
I think from the past, but like I said, present, I know even in my house when the smell is kind of like lightness. So holistic healing stuff. I don't know if we go back fast, but I hear something just changes the smell. You know, what I'm doing. Holistically, smells, especially today, helps me smell something. It just makes
You said
get different.
you smell things and it helps you remember. You were broken up, so I'm just kind of going by what I thought I heard you say. Now, before the session, Forrest and I had a great conversation, and we didn't have there was no interference at all. But one of the things that that my memory does, or my, you know, whenever I smell bleach, my first thought is of my grandmother. She was always, first of all, she always cleaned everything with bleach. I mean, you know, that was her go-to thing. And I think because, you know, she worked as a maid and she cleaned up around the house, and she was just always so loving and so kind and so helpful and so supportive. So whenever I smell bleach, that's a great memory for me. That always gives me warm and tingly feelings. When I talk to anybody else about bleach, you know, they talk about how harsh it is, the chemical smell and all of these things. And all I can ever, whenever I smell it, it just reminds me of my grandmother and of love. So yeah, I do use Clorox.
That's interesting, because when you said that, I didn't. The first thing that when you said bleach, the first thing I thought about, my mother had allergies, and bleach was one of those things. And whenever she washed, she always used bleach, and she would be sneezing like crazy. And that's and when you said bleach, that's what I thought of.
And say, and what a loving sensation that was, because, you know, you found something, you know, I mean, it was your mom, it was, you know, probably a torment to your mom, because, oh my gosh, I gotta put some bleach or something, I'm gonna sneeze. But out of her love for her family, she put her own health aside to help her household be clean, to give you all the love and things that it came out of that. So you can see love, dedication, and some amusement, because like you said, it always made her sneeze.
Right.
So these are some of the, no, go ahead. Oh, I thought I had stepped on.
Oh, no, you didn't, but since you gave me the opening, I just wanted to share something. When we went down to the expo, the holistic expo, the gentleman that did the session on the chakras, had a book there, and the title of the book, Essential Oils Your Aromatherapy Guide to Ayurvedic Healing.
Mm-hmm.
And when he, as he opens his book, he says, understanding aromatherapy. And he describes aromatherapy as the use of aromatic essence or oils extracted from plants for therapeutic purposes. And then he goes on to say that aromatherapy is a misnomer because it gives the impression that the therapy works only by the sense of smell, whereas it also works by skin absorption. So when we use these aroma oils, we not only smell them, but when we rub them on our skin, it helps.
Yes, yes, right. Yes. And you know, and you kind of got to like the second half of the of the session.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, that's really fantastic because you know everything is integrated, and because
right. Yes.
You know, in our Western medicines, everything is so separated. You know, we don't see how everything fits together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And generally in Western medicine, the spirit is not ever mentioned. Really? Even if you bring it up to your doctor, they'll nod, you know, but they won't concur. You know, they won't, you know, offer any type of advice, any type of information of how you can use the medication spiritually. Pretty much because most of the I was going to say most of the medicines that we get are already dead and manipulated and reduced probably down to just synthetics.
And that is why they're always, no, I was going to say that's why they're always warning us about what they call the contraindications. In other words, the adverse effects that the medication can have on you.
Yes. And so that's why I think that, and not saying that aromatherapy is you know, more so than, but I you know, for me personally, I do think it is more connected to us spiritually because it has so many connections in our brain. And so it affects our psyche so much.
Exactly.
Because, you know, like I said, you know, my grandmother, because she was loving and kind, that's the thing that connects me to bleach. But if she was, you know, had some type of OCD tendencies, which she probably did, that, you know, that didn't affect me any, you know, but, you know, some people are so overly cleanly that that it can be, you know, harmful to anybody else that's in the house. You know, so a lot of times we can, and I say that just simply because just having read the book Sybil and having watched the movie Sybil, one of the things that the first thing that had brought out a different personality in Sybil that the doctor was able to see was when she did smell bleach. Because when she smelled bleach, then she was reminded of the horrible experiments that her mother had done on her as a child for many years. And that brought out a whole nother personality. So the doctor would say, oh my gosh, it's another person inside of there. How many more are in there? So you're about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, you mentioned a little bit earlier about doctors not being receptive, but I think there are some doctors that understand the spiritual aspect of holistic healing, but it's up to you to bring it up. Because if you don't bring it up, they're not going to mention it because they're and I think it's because, first of all, I don't want to say fearful, but that's the best word I can think of for right now, of offending their patients and driving them away if they bring up, you know, the spiritual aspect. So I think it is up to us, the patient, to bring up that aspect of our beliefs and and how using spirituality can help us to.
Is that her gone? I think did we
Harriet,
lose
you
her?
gone?
I think we lost her.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the things that I, just to piggyback on that is that where she had gotten the book from her essential oils and with Ayurvedic healing, Ayurveda, Ayurveda, how you say it?
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda is a spiritual healing system.
Mm-hmm.
where most Western doctors, we don't have a spiritual healing system. So I can mention my spirituality to them, and they can base it, and they may base it upon their spirituality, but we don't have a spirituality healing system.
Right.
Where China does, most Eastern
India.
Most the Eastern philosophies have spiritual healing systems. So that's what I was saying. Yeah,
Well, can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I think partially because they're never taught about holistic healing. No one's ever talked about it because maybe they didn't even know it, even though they couldn't bring it to us. Is because they were never taught.
And plus there's no money in it. There's there's no money in it. On the Western side.
But I do have great memories, like when I would go to my grandmom's house and you smell that apple pie. And that was like, we were like, oh wow, grandmama's make that apple pie. We know we're gonna have a great day today because that's grandmama's pie. So it was something that we look forward to, was smelling that apple pie. And I can remember even when my dad would cook apple pies, that made me say, we're gonna have a great day because we don't know what the food is ahead, but that apple pie makes me feel good. So I think that smelling of that apple pie, even from the past, from a grandmother or my father, that smell of the apple pie it woke me up and say, wow, this is going to be a wonderful day to look forward to, just smelling that apple pie.
Can't wait for dinner.
Yeah. And and the same the same thing can come from something, a negative experience can come from a smell as well, and those one of the things that's why I think that that's why I had brought up aromatherapy, how it really connects us as a spiritual healing system, because it not only heals, it not only produces endorphins, it can help heal our amygdala. It makes different things on our brain, in our limbic system, which we had talked about last week. Or maybe the week before, I don't know. Recently, we had talked about, the different systems that are in the brain, the cerebral cortex. What was our limbic system? Cerebral cortex, our amygdala, and something else. And I got my brain book on the other side of the room. I'll get it in a minute. But those things are so closely related to our crown chakra and our third eye chakra, so that those two chakras that are help elevate our consciousness. So that why that aromatherapy, I feel, and it could be other things also, but I think that this modality is a very spiritually challenging healing system, because it not only heals mind and body, but it brings us closer in alignment with spirit, because we can it produces, aromatherapy produces relaxation. It which will heal and calm us and bring us to that point of centeredness. It enhances concentration, which enhances focus, so we can stay focused and stay centered in our super consciousness for longer periods of time. That's why, well, you know, I'm a Catholic, so incense was a big part of the you know, a big part in the religious ceremony. Often when the priest came in, he came in with his censer, which was a which was the, you know, the an incense,
little thing on the end.
right, an incense burner, so that it enlivens and enlightens the olfactory system. So now, okay, now we know that we are about to be put into a super consciousness state of mind. I never had that experience in any of the Protestant churches that I went to, but you know, that was how the when I was going to Catholic church anyway, as a child, that was how the priest came in. He came in with incense, you know, and that was centered, that was, you know, solely for the purpose of spiritual exhalation. So so yes, so so also kind of, since you mentioned it, Harriet, I'll just include that also. One of the things that that the you know, aromatherapy does, and then because I kind of wanted to get into carrier oils when we were, you know, talking about the physical body. But you know, you don't put your essential oil straight onto your body, you know, because you can get, you know, some people are highly allergic because it's, you know, it's concentrated oils. So, you know, you use a carrier oil such as jojoba oil, which is jojoba, or you can use an avocado oil or a grapeseed oil. Anything that doesn't have a lot of a strong smell to itself. Like an olive oil, you probably would not use an olive oil with your essential oils, because olive oil in itself has different properties, and they don't absorb the essential oils as well as, say, a grapeseed oil or jojoba oil or an avocado oil. So, you know, so the absorption rate in the carrier oil is also just as important, because you want something, you know, if you're going to you know, because aromatherapy, you know, those little vials can be very expensive. So if you you know, whatever the thing is that you're trying to use, you want it to affect the body as quickly and as much as possible. So you really don't want a thicker oil like an olive oil that won't absorb as well into the body as quickly into the body as a as a lighter oil. But one of the so another thing that I kind of wanted to, you know, to mention, because we are still talking about increasing energy, and I just found a card in this book. So I was looking for. Okay, so some things that I did something. I don't know if y'all, if this is messing up your screen any. But one of the things that you know, essential oil, there's so many different essential oils. Every plant, of course, we know every plant has its own oil. And the reason that they are so expensive is because, you know, you really, first you have to have the know-how to extract the oil. You have to have enough of the raw materials to extract the oil. So they, so they are pretty expensive. And they can, but one of the things that they do affect is like, our immune system, which has a lot to do with our energy, with our energies, with the energy in our
And the
bodies.
body, yeah, and the ability for the body to heal itself.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so the, like our immune system, it helps, and our nervous system. Those are the two things where we really want to, they really help us. Those things, give us a lot of energy. So I wanted just to, but one of the things I did want to look at first while I had this screen up, and this is called 5 Changes Aromatherapy Makes on Your Brain's Limbic System. And I wanted to talk about this because it, kind of goes along with what we were talking about last week or the last couple of weeks, just to stay focused so that we can, have some continuity. So, this tells us what aromatherapy does, what it is. Aromatherapy is the form of holistic healing, which Harriet has already, talked about and has given us some great information on. Some of the things that aromatherapy helps, it helps us manage pain, because if being in pain is one of the things that can, really deplete your energy and brings on fatigue. It improves sleep quality, reduces stress and anxiety. It fights bacteria, virus, or fungus. It improves digestion and boosts immunity. And those are all of the things that, really help us heal. Because like you were saying earlier, Harriet, is that when the body is at its optimal, healing goes easier through whatever, we might have some crisis, stub our toe, or, have a tummy, eat something bad and have it affect our tummy. But if our body is at its optimal range, we heal a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So, we talked about how it relaxes our muscles. We have happy thoughts. It boosts concentration, and that's one of the things that we were talking about. How it draws us closer in our spiritual life. Lowers stress, because if the less stressed I am, whether that is good stress or bad stress, I can stay focused more on and being clear and to hear anything that spirit is trying to say to me. There's enhanced emotional connection. So, that's somebody that you really love, and, they come by and, they always have a certain cologne on, as soon, if you smell that cologne anywhere else, you turn and look to see, is this the person that I love? Or, you have that baby, and, whenever you go to a baby, you do want to smell them. What do they smell like, So, so they do enhance our emotional connections. So those are the 5 things right there. So does anything, y'all have any questions or comments?
No.
No. Okay.
It's just in talking about this, it brings it. I think about, you mentioned things, and I think about, I have, memories of certain things. That's all.
So so I did want to the book that I'm using is called The Complete Aromatherapy and Essential Oil Source Book. It's by Julia Lawless, and I have a couple of other aromatherapy books, but this is the one that I picked up just to help us with this class today.
What's the name of it again?
It is called The Complete Aromatherapy and Essential Oils Source Book. I'll see if I can put it in the chat.
Okay.
And the author is Julia Lawless. Let's see. It takes me a long time. I'm not going to capitalize. ATHERAPY and essential oils. OIL. Essential oils source book. What I say, Julia Lawless. There we go. If I can, my mouse. I really need to get a better mouse pad. It takes me like forever to get my cursor to work right. But this is, I mean, it's a very good book, and it has some of the major things that we all know about and have heard about. Now they have aromatherapy and essential oils. Of course, you use your essential oils for aromatherapy, but aromatherapy does not necessarily have to have essential oils. If you have roses in your garden, you can just go and pick off some rose petals and put that in your bath water. Or, if you have some mint in your yard, you can, you don't have to always drink the tea. You can use that as a steamer. Use the steam from that and what to call it, to inhale. What's that called when you breathe it in? I can't think of the word.
It's right there on
like
my
a
brain, but it
vaporizer.
won't come out.
Yeah, like a vaporizer.
Yeah,
like when you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some things that you already have in your garden, you can, instead of you don't always have to use it as a tea. You can use those raw materials. You can put them in hot water. Allow the steam to to build up, and especially like mints. If you have eucalyptus, if you have another good one is called echinacea. If you have those things in your garden, you can just put those in a tea, boil the water, put a towel over your head. You remember how you used to do in olden days, and just breathe in and breathe in that vapor, and that will help clear out your lungs. So these are some of the things that we use that you can use that for. So that also is aromatherapy without using essential oils per se. But when we do have essential oils, you can do the same thing with your essential oils. You can take your
I remember.
Go ahead. No, go, please go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I remember as a child when I had a cold and I'd get all clogged up and couldn't breathe, my mom would just rub Vicks under my nostrils, and that would help to clear up,
that
clear up
camphor.
my breathing apparatus. Yeah,
that camphor, and that is a plant. Camphor is a plant. Yeah. So you can they had made that, and we have the camphorated oils, and that's one of the things that once upon a time this is what people used to do. It wasn't you weren't you had a medicinal herb garden in your yard. I mean, that's one of the things that I just remember my grandmother and most ladies in her place, in her setting, in her time, everybody had an herb garden. Everybody had some herb garden. Everybody had a medicinal garden. And they would call around and go to do I need some pennyroyal? You got any pennyroyal? I'm running low, or whatever, and they would swap. and these would be things that they would use, they would either dry the herbs so that they could use it during the winter time, or I guess they swapped recipes, or if there was, if somebody had more knowledge than another person, that person would, they would say, baby's sick, baby got whooping cough, baby got thrush or whatever. Those are the things
Whatever.
that they use. They use their expertise on what they knew, and nobody, people just didn't run to the doctor like talking about. Not saying the doctors are wrong
Exactly.
or bad or anything. It's just that, we were more in tune with nature than we are today.
And it had to be almost a
Can
life and death situation to call in the doctor.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
Can you hear
now.
me?
Yeah.
Yes or
You said
no?
something.
Okay. How about when you hear some good marijuana, you smell some good marijuana, how does it make you feel? Just make you smell that marijuana? Food
It
for
make me
thought.
feel happy. It make
Exactly.
me feel
Me too.
happy.
That's what.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
and and when you think, and just when you think about herbalism, when you think about herbalism in general, one of the things that, and I think we did this last week where we talked about different uses for herbs. Like, you don't always have to use
Mhm.
the herb. You don't always have to smoke the marijuana. You can take some of the seeds and put it in your
Right.
carry it along with you. Use some of the
Okay.
just the herb itself, and because it brings in
Right.
financial abundance, or so it says.
Right.
It ain't
Mhm.
never helped me financially. I guess as soon as I got it
Right.
financial out, when I bought myself another bag. But
Right. All right.
but those are but
This is
some but
another type
those
of
are some of
herb
the things.
that makes you feel.
Yeah, but those are some of the things that, it opens up those senses of joy. Um,
Mhm.
So, hello.
Mhm.
yeah, so some of the things that just wanted to talk. So I just wanted to go over some of the essential oils that um
Okay.
that we can use, and some of them, that stuff that we just simply have around the house, like lemon, um any of your citrus fruits, lemon, lime, grapefruit, all of those, and
Oranges.
those are oils that you can squeeze out. If you
Okay.
squeeze out your lemon enough, you can see the oils pop off the back of the lemon peel.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you can use that to re-energize your body. You can use that as you can put, if you squeeze enough lemons, you know, with the purpose of getting the essential oils off, then you can squeeze off that essential oil, or you can just peel the skin only, put it in. Just the yellow part, not the pith, not the white, just the yellow. Put that in oils itself. Then you can create your own essential oil. So who did I lose? I just lost somebody.
Forest, because I'm still here.
Or okay, you're still
Forest.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of these, some of these things that you want to use to so since we are talking about things that increase energy, so I'm going to look at some of the stimulating oils, and they are angelica. And angelica is there's what a Queen Anne's lace look like, that fluffy white flower that got a whole lot of different flowers around it.
Okay.
It's a weed. So you see them on the side of the road all the time.
On the side of the road, yeah.
Yeah.
You used
So
to.
yeah, exactly. So there's a Queen Anne's lace and there's an angelica. So both of them you can use as herbs. One of the angelica is a little bit more potent, so you have to really be careful how to use it because it can be poisonous.
Right.
Queen's Anne's lace is, both of them can be, anything that you don't, that you misuse, it can be dangerous. But Queen's Anne's lace and Angelica is, they look the same. I think Queen's Anne's lace, I think the thing it says, when you look at the stem, it looks like it has hair. So it says Queen's Anne's lace is pretty at the top, but she has hairy legs. So you can, so if you look at the stem and it has like the little hairy, that look like hairy fibers, then you know which one you're working with.
Gotcha.
And so Angelica, so you can, make, get the white flowers or the leaves and make a tincture, which is, you can use like Everclear, alcohol, grain alcohol. You can use a different
Vodka.
type. Vodka, yes. Mostly clear alcohols. It's better to use clear alcohols with those. Or you can use your essential oils. You can just, so that those are things that you can easily make up on your own. Angelica
Okay.
is for stimulus because, so it increases your circulatory system and increases your heart rate. So that's why I said sometimes it can be, if if you overuse it, it can be overstimulating. Basil
Right.
is another one. Basil is another stimulating. So that's something that you can just use as food. But again, we can, you can create your own tinctures or essential oils using those things. If you want to use, if you grow basil in your garden, you can just take a bunch of basil, crunch it up, with a mortar and pestle. Put that in some essential oils or something that you can use as a diffuser, and you can just spritz a little bit, you need or put some under your nose when you need, you're doing some study or you're doing something where you need focus and concentration. These are things that I've used. Now, camphor, we just talked about camphor, how camphor how and I can't remember what camphor looks like, and I know I have a book that shows me a picture of it. But we can look, you can always look stuff up on the line online and see what it looks
Okay.
like, what it can do for you. Cardamom. I love cardamom. I use cardamom a lot as a warming spice. I use it a lot in meals, period, because I think that it tastes delicious.
Yeah, it
if
is
I'm
good.
yeah.
It was when I began to really look at herbs and things, and became interested in them, I realized that a lot of what we think of as seasonings for our food, they are all herbs that were used for the process of healing, even tobacco.
Yes.
Tobacco, which was used by the Native Americans as a medicinal as opposed to recreational drug.
Yes, exactly. And that was also something that was used to for focus and for higher mind development, so that you can be closer to spirit. The same thing like marijuana,
Exactly.
That's what those things have traditionally been used for. It wasn't just used for for recreational purposes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So some of the other things that, other stimulations that, we have cardamom, we got cinnamon, clove, all of those things. I think we talked a little bit about last week when we were talking about the herbs. But, the same thing with you can get, you can get cardamom, cinnamon, and clove. You can get seeds, cardamom seeds, cinnamon sticks, and, the little clove, what do you call it?
Clove buds.
Thank you. Clove buds. Put those in Everclear or vodka. that they are really excellent. If you get a cold or you catch a chill, in the wintertime, take a
You know,
spoonful of that.
I
and
just
that,
I just thought I just thought about something. I remember growing up occasionally for as part of the Christmas decorations, we'd take an orange and
mhm,
stick clothes
those
all
in it.
over it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it always, and of course the smells at Christmas time are just,
Yeah, and
they're
they bring back that memory of happy
exactly,
times. Of happy
exactly.
times. You know that is of the season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some other herbs are fennel, geranium, jasmine, lemon. We talked about pine.
And
Pine.
don't
Yeah, pine. Of course, you can't consume pine, but pine in itself. If you clean your house good with pine, with pine, and pine has always been known as an antiseptic, a cleansing oil.
mm-hmm.
When you clean your house, it does energize
And
your mood in your home.
exactly. But you have to be careful with that because there are some people
Yeah,
that yeah.
cholesterol oil.
How I say that again?
It's called it's CASTOR, cholesterol oil.
Yeah, castor oil. Yes.
Hmm.
And
But
castor oil
I,
has that's really good for you. That's kind of like in all it catches all. It's
Mm-hmm.
good
uh-huh.
for your digestion. I don't know if castor oil does so much energetically, but I know that
But they
castor oil gets rid of like parasites. So yeah,
Can,
so
can
uh-huh.
speaking of castor oil, can I share something?
please.
Uh-huh.
Years ago, I went to a one of those storefront gyms, the ones that all they want to do is pull you in and get your money.
Uh-huh.
And they I joined one of them, and I went through the routine of being shown, how to use the different equipment in the gym. But there was one, and I forget now what it was called, but anyway, it was where you had to it tightened up the abdominal area.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shown how to use it, but she didn't make sure that I was doing it correctly. And when I
Mm-hmm.
went to do it on my own, I pulled some kind of muscle in the what we know now as the solar plexus area, not the solar plexus, but the sacral area chakra.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it felt like somebody had grabbed me and pulled, just tore my muscles apart.
Mm.
Extremely painful, painful
Mhm.
to stand up, painful to sit down, painful to laugh. But once I got into position, I was okay.
Mhm.
Well, my doctor at the time was a holistic doctor.
Mhm.
And when I went to him, the first thing he did was use a couple of kind of electronic heat treatments.
Mhm.
When I went into his office, it was painful. When I
Mhm.
came out of his office, I was fine. But the thing that impressed me the most, and I still use it today, he said, now when you go home, rub this area with castor oil
Mhm.
and then use a hot towel as hot as your hands can stand it, fold it up so that it only
Mhm.
covers the area where the pain is, and put it on there. And when that gets cool, open it up to where it's still hot inside, into the middle of the towel, and continue to do that until the towel, the heat has gone from the towel. And
Mm.
I still use it. And every time anybody tell me they have a muscle pain or something, I tell them what to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, because you told me about castor oil, and I had gotten some. So thank you for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So castor. I mean. So yeah. Pine, rosemary, sage, sandalwood, sweet orange, which is I don't know what sweet orange is. I guess sweet orange is the same as orange. I don't know. why one is considered sweet orange and one is just orange. So I really don't know the distinction of those two. And Lang Lang, which is flower. It smells beautiful. I love that. So those are some of the stimulating oils that you can use. You can use them for you can use them to help you wake up. You can use them to, to help you stay focused. If you're having some type of function or something in your home, you can use those different, you can combine, several drops of those in some type of water in your home for a diffuser. You can, use that as a diffuser, and that will just diffuse in your home. And, you always have, focus and concentration and stimulation throughout that time period. Good for meetings and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that I just wanted to be able to talk about today, when we're discussing essential oils.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it, because it's 11:51.
Okay.
Time goes by real quickly, and when we're only
It
working
does.
on an hour.
Yes. Okay.
But so what do you so do you all have so let's do our roundtable real quick, or if you have any ideas or suggestions or questions or comments at this time, let me know. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. You have more or less this session today really has more or less forced me to look closer at the book that I purchased when we went to the Holistic and Health Expo. And in thumbing through it, all of the herbs and things that you mentioned, all the sources that you mentioned, he talks about in his book, and he gives good, what I would say a good explanation. The only thing is, I was looking just now when you were talking about the sweet orange, and I looked to see if there was an index, and he doesn't include an index, so that, to reference different things. So I'm going to kind of thumb through it and see if I can find that sweet orange.
Okay, cool.
Okay, my turn.
You're giving yourself some homework. All right now.
So what I've learned through holistic is smelling is that I can make my environment, change my environment just by smells. And so I'm going to concentrate on smelling my environment, that I can make my environment smell better. So thank you for allowing me to help me change my way of thinking of how I smell. So I want to say thank you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I think this session I'm really glad that we're doing this, because this is bringing me back to things that I used to do, but I either got out of it for whatever reason or for whatever thing, but now all of this stuff is coming back to my life. So so I just want to thank this group for allowing me to have these things that used to mean so much to me in the past, but I let go of, but now I'm able to come back to.
Okay.
So I'm already doing my essential. I'm getting my essential oils and my herbalism back. Those were two main areas that I used to really focus and concentrate on. So I'm beginning to do those again, but with the intent of spiritual enlightenment, and spiritual awareness and spiritual alignment. I have so many, different pains and conditions in my body. Like I have told people before, they have helped me in the past, but they're not helping no more. They they hurtful now. They're harmful now.
Okay, good.
Can I ask? Yeah. Can I ask a quick question? Does is the use of incense sticks mentioned anywhere in her book?
I have in all of my readings of aromatherapy, I have never read where anybody had ever talked about an incense stick. That's just something that I had. Cone sticks, where I have never I have never. Now, doesn't mean that it, somebody hadn't said anything about it. It's just that I had never seen it, and I use incense, on a regular basis, but I only use it for meditative purposes.
Right,
But I
right,
can't say
yeah,
I only use it for meditative purposes, because that's not true. I mean, sometimes I want my house to smell good, so I light an
exactly, yeah.
incense. But
Mm.
but now that I can't take smoke like I used to could, so I don't do. If I do incense, I prefer not for it to be in a different room for me, so I don't use it in my meditative practices anymore.
Okay.
But when I was doing candle work, one of the things that you do with your candles, uh, when you use your essential oils, especially to dress your candles.
Mhm.
You dress your candles with certain essential oils,
Oil
and
wells, yeah.
and so that works better for me, because I can I have the smell of the essential oil along with the candle, and
Right.
it's not as much. But I would think
What
that, go ahead.
another trick that I learned years ago, and it just came to my mind, is if you take the essential oil and put it on a light bulb, put a drop on a light bulb, that is it helps. It works the same way as say uh um uh incense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Incense oil, yeah.
Yeah, but you got to be real careful of that, because it is an oil, especially if you just dropping the oil
Right. I think
on
if
the
you
light
put it
bulb
on,
itself.
yeah,
It can cause a fire.
you put it on before you turn the light on, before it heats up, because I think if you do it when it's hot, it'll crack
Well,
the
yeah, you
bulb.
can't do it while it's hot, but even
Yeah.
when it
So be
heats up, the oil
careful.
heats up itself. It can,
Mm-hmm.
cause expansion in the glass, and so
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, I know people do it, but I think it's easier for me, not to set the house on fire.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also want to add one thing I've learned how it's going to help me is because every day I pray for people. So now I'm going to consciously make sure my environment is a smelling environment that's really connected to how I'm praying. So that's what it'll help me with today.
Yes, 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 yes. So I'm gonna finish my round table.
Okay, your turn. Sorry.
Uh, my round tables always spark another discussion.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, it does.
But that's one of the things that I plan on doing with this knowledge that I'm doing today. And I just want to thank you all, because you all have re-sparked this interest in me. And because I want it to be more than just a hobby. I want
Mhm.
it to be a life, something a lifestyle.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, then that's it for today. Um, uh, next week we might I think I might finish up with uh uh with energy, unless I find something else that will to do with our energetic bodies, and do something a little bit more specific. Maybe we will get more into how the brain works, because I think that it's helpful for us to understand how these work with our body system. Um, but so we might finish. So I don't know whether this is going to be the end of this thing with energy, or whether we'll do one more thing on energy, on our energetic systems, for next week. But so that's pretty much it for today. Um, any other questions or comments?
Well, my comment, I plan to bring back I am since my phone seems to be working better now.
Oh, okay. So you want to do I am instead of this? So let me know,
Okay, I'll let you know.
because we've been doing this instead of I am.
Yes, yes. Now it seems like my phone is acting better. I would like to bring back I am.
Okay, so then this is the end of our holistic healing sessions, and we will begin doing I am again next Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all righty. Okay, well then, would anybody like to close us out in prayer? Okay, I will. Let's just settle back for a moment. And open our hearts and open our minds to peace, to love, to joy, and to energy. We know that there is only one source. That source is all peace, love, joy, and energy. That source is us, is filled in us, is around us, is everywhere in and through our being. As we move about our day, just remind ourselves that there are so many opportunities that we can use to increase our energetic bodies. There are so many ways that we can use to increase our livelihood and our joy. There are so many ways that we can use to build toward our futures and to make ourselves healthy and happy and whole. As we continue out through this day, let's just simply be grateful. Just allow gratitude to be a running theme through our hearts and our minds today. Say I'm grateful over and over and over. Tell other people how grateful we are about this life. You know, walk up to strangers and just thank them for being who they are. Just allow ourselves to have gratitude in our lives. And with that, those are the things that we begin to release. We release that power of gratitude. We release the power of energy, of sanctity, of love, of life and lightness. And we allow those things to be a part of who we are and how we in the wholeness of our being. And with that, we say, and so it is.